Hey, good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Bona premidi. An. All right, we got a tech tip number 2 about to jump off, man. It's Sunday. It's raining in Florida again, so I mean it's raining bad, man. We got the streets flooding and everything. So, what better time to do a tech tip? I mean, ain't nothing else really going on. So, this will be tech tip episode deuce. All right, so we're gonna just run through 3 things real quick. The first thing I'm gonna run through is just basically it's chemical related, right? We got a lot of systems that look real nice, man. They're real pretty, and you know how it is, man. Sometimes you like to shine them up. You know what I mean? Spray a little something on them and shine them up or whatever. A lot of people use WD-40 to shine up their system, right? I'm going to tell you that's not the best thing to use, and I'm going to show you why, right? I just so happen to have a cover of a old amplifier that I'm not going to repair because it ain't worth it. But just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. You know, all the tops of the amplifiers are black. You know, I got my distro right here that's kind of, you know, it's black and all of that. So a lot of times you got your system or whatever, you want to make the thing look crisp before you go on road. So you spray some WD-40 on it and, you know, you kind of shine it up. All right, I'm going to do this because I'm going to let the ink dry while I'm talking, right? So I got a regular paint marker. It's just a Sharpie paint marker. This is an oil base. So this is not the little water based paint markers that'll come off real easy. This is oil based. So once this get on something, it stays on there. So we're going to draw a line right here, right? We're going to come down here and draw another line. So I got 2 lines with this silver paint marker. All right. So to make sure it dries, I'm going to turn on my my hot air machine and turn on the hot air. Bum, bum, bum. And yeah, tag a friend and share, man. This is tech tip number 2. So, you know, like I said, I love sharing stuff with the sound culture and the family or whatever. So that's what I'll be doing right now. So, all right, we're just going to heat this up with the hot air. Let me see. They're trying to make the paint dry, right? So this thing, believe it or not, the air that comes out of this thing, this is a Heiko FR801. It gets up to like 800 degrees, man. You could actually melt solder with this. So this is just one of the things used in the industry, all right? So that's how it looks, hot air machine. So I'm pretty sure the paint is dry by now, so we'll put that back, turn that off, let it cool down. Yeah, because feeling right here is pretty hot. So we're going to let that dry for a second. All right, so check this out. You got a system, it's pretty, it's shiny and all of that. You like to keep it that way, so you keep putting WD-40 on it. Let me tell you why you don't want to use WD-40 on your system. You know what I mean? I mean, you could do it on the outside of the cases, stuff like that, the wheels, so on and so forth, but you don't want to spray it on the face or put it on a rag and wipe it on the face of your equipment, all right? So just to verify, this is dry. And this is dry too. So they're both dry. All right, so right now I'm going to spray a little WD-40 on this line right here. Just kind of let that sit for a minute. I have another solution. This is what I use on the system, right? It's silicone lubricant. So this is a different composition in the chemicals. You see, I'm using them little $50 words, man. Composition and all that. You know what I'm saying? Oh. But yeah, so this is a different composition, man. This is silicone. So I'm going to spray that on this line. Right here. All right, so I'm gonna let it sit for a second and then I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. All right, so we got this line up here, which is WD-40. This line right here, which is the silicon based lubricant. Right. I had a buddy that used to use WD-40 on all of his equipment, man. I mean, the man, he would put so much of it though that like if you try to help him move the system to a party or a dance or whatever, you couldn't even hardly hold the system because it was so damn slippery. You see what I'm saying? So we used to always give him a lot of stress with that, man. Like, brethren, why you have to put so much damn grease by your zone? You know what I mean? So literally, man, you try to move the amp rack is slipping out of your hand. So one day I told him, I said, yo, brethren, you know, WD-40 is flammable, right? So I showed him, lit it up, and I sprayed a little bit and lit it up. Then the damn thing burned. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, you going to do this dance? You better hope so. The man are drawing a big tune, you know. Sure enough, the man, the man in the party draw a big sizzler. The place ram, you know, and the WD-40s on the speaker boxes and everything, man, the grills, everything. So, man, draw the big sizzler tune. But man, don't apologize to nobody. But yeah, bop, 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 blood. Yo, the man them say, lighter. The selector said, light up on the mic. The man run out. He was almost in slow motion. He was like, no. Yo, the man swear, said the man, so I'm going to catch a fire to rot it. You know what I mean? But, that's just a little interlude, man, into what we got going on. I'm just trying to tell that story while I let this lubricant stuff kind of set. All right. So going back to the tech tip. This is WD-40. This is silicon, right? So I'm going to wipe off the silicon lubricant. Wipe it off. I'm rubbing it hard. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting a lot of pressure. As a matter of fact, you can see the whole table is shaking, right? The workbench. So I'm putting a lot of pressure on this. You see the silver paint? It's still there, right? Now I'm gonna do the same thing where I got the WD-40, right? Let's do that. Start rubbing on the WD-40, rubbing that the same way. And if you notice, the paint is starting to come off. Like, I don't know if you can see it real good. This is the silicon. You see how the line is thick and solid. You see how the WD-40 line, like the actual paint is starting to come off, right? If I keep rubbing it, it's just gonna totally wear out. You know what I'm saying? Let me just show you what I'm talking about. The more I rub, the more faded it's starting to get, right? All right, so this tech tip is just to let you know you shouldn't use WD-40 on your equipment, like the front of it, like where you got the writing or whatever. I've had people that had systems and they keep spraying WD-40 on the equalizer, the crossover, stuff like that, and they notice over time the whatchamacallit, numbers, the lettering, the name, everything starts to come off because WD-40 has a response to certain inks and stuff like that. That's not, you know, a good thing for your sound system. As a matter of fact, the WD in WD-40 stands for water displacement, right? So WD in WD-40 stands for water displacement. All right, so just keep that in mind, man. When you got your system and you're trying to keep it nice and pretty and whatever, don't spray WD-40 on the outside of the equipment where the writing and stuff is. You can spray it on your racks, you know, as long as you don't have no writing on it. You know, it won't take the writing off. You know, if you got gum, for instance, if you got bubble gum and it's stuck to carpet or whatever, you spray some WD-40 on there and let that, and you let it sit for a while, man, that gum will come right up. So it does a good thing when it comes to removing adhesives, like anything sticky, you know, gum or anything like that. But it's not good for your system where you would have all of this writing and stuff on the front of it. It's actually going to take it off. All right, so don't use WD-40 on the front of your equipment. Use something like a silicon-based lubricant. That way it'll save the writing and stuff on your system, and it'll still look shiny. You know what I mean? All right, so that's I guess number one. All right, number two. There's a big misconception in what the purpose of a breaker is, right? 99% or more of the people in the sound community, sound family, whatever, they don't understand what the purpose of a breaker is. Everybody might be saying, man, what the hell are you talking about? A breaker is to stop the stuff, you know, stop the electricity so it don't damage your equipment. That's absolutely wrong. The purpose of a breaker is to protect the source, not your equipment. So in other words, this right here is the WASI distro, the WD-1, you know, shameless plug. All right, so the main plug goes in here. Everything else is connected to these individual breaker circuits, right? So on the back of the back of the distro, you see right here, let me just turn it around. All of these outlets right here, they have an individual breaker, right? So the breakers are not to protect the equipment. So if I have a amplifier, a CVR connected right here, I got a power soft right here, I got a WASI amp right here. I got a lab grouping right here. The breakers are not supposed, I mean, their purpose is not to protect the actual equipment that's connected to it. The purpose of a breaker is to protect the source from damage. So in other words, if you got your amplifiers and they're all connected right here and they're connected to a generator, the purpose of the breaker is to trip in case one of your amps fail and starts to short out, it doesn't damage the generator. So the breaker is not to protect your equipment, it's to protect the source, whatever it's connected to. All right, so, you know, a lot of times I hear people talk about it and, you know, they'll call me up and say, yo, Wasi, what size breaker should I use to protect my amp rack or protect my amps? And I'm like, you know, I tell them, you know, whatever the recommendation is for the actual amplifier, you know, you want to use that. But they have it misunderstood. They think the breaker is to protect the amp. No, the breaker is to protect the source. So if you're connected to a building or you're connected to a generator and your amplifier burns or fails, it doesn't damage the building or the generator. That's the purpose of a breaker. All right. So hopefully that'll help clear that up a little bit. I'm not too artistic, so I can't really draw nothing out and, you know, be doing anything fancy with that. I'm just trying to explain it, right? So that's number 2. Like I said, it's a quick tech tip. We're on tech tip what? Episode 2. A tech tip is a tongue twister for me, man. But yeah, so far we covered the solvents or the actual chemicals that you put on your sound. You know, don't use WD-40 on your equipment where you have writing. That's number 1. Number 2, a breaker is not to protect your equipment, it's to protect the source. Right? So don't think that a breaker is going to save your amplifier from blowing. If your amplifier blows and shorts out, it trips to keep the actual source from getting damaged. Right? So that's the purpose of a breaker. All right, last but not least, anybody that know me, they know I always try to help people out, man. I'm on the phone like a lot of times, you know, with people I know and people I don't know, and I'll sit there on the phone with them for 40 minutes, an hour, where just trying to help out. I mean, if you have any questions or whatever, I try to help out the best that I can. I don't know everything, but whatever I know, I'm gonna definitely try to point you in the right direction. So the last tech tip is kind of non-technical. It's about work, right? We got a lot of people that spend a lot of money on their sound, man. They got tens of thousands of dollars invested in their sound system, and you know, they're fighting and cutting each other's throat to get a dance or an event with a promoter. That ain't the way to do it, man. If you got a sound system, you spent a lot of money on it, what you need to do is set yourself up as a business so you could get good work with your sound systems. You got some guys that are fighting over dances and parties where they're gonna get paid $600 to $1,000 to bring, you know, 3 or 4 columns out, you know, rent a U-Haul, spend money on the U-Haul, them have to pay them on them that help them lift the equipment a certain amount of money, and you got all this money spent and invested in your sound system. So, I mean, I understand you got a love for the actual sound thing and whatever, but you got to look at it from a business standpoint as well. It don't really make sense. There are certain events that I and other people have done where literally I take 2 speakers and put them on a pole. I don't even bring a sub, but I just put 2 speakers on a pole and have some good quality wireless mics for people to go up on a little stage and speak. And, you know, I'll walk away with $2,500. You see what I'm saying? I'm literally there for like 2 hours. So those are the kind of jobs that you want to go after. You don't want to, I mean, not saying that there's nothing wrong with a dancehall thing and, you know, doing jobs for promoters or whatever, but sometimes it's just too cutthroat, man. You got too many cats that want to go out. They don't even necessarily want to do it for the money. It's like they just want their name on the flyer. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to do that, more power to you. If you don't need the money, that's fine. But for the people that may want to do it more as like a business, there's a couple things that I recommend. The first thing is I would tell you to, you know, create an LLC, right, for your company. Just create an LLC for your company. Now, if you want to use your sound name as your LLC, that's cool. But, you know, if your sound name is like Kill the Batty Boy, or, you know what I mean? If that's the name of your sound, Murder International, you know, you may not want to use that for your LLC name. That probably ain't going to go over too well if Murder International wants to do our speaking engagement for our political client. You know what I mean? So just kind of keep that in mind, right? The other thing that you want to do after you create the LLC is you want to get a little website, man. Just, you know, it ain't got to be nothing too crazy. Just something to have your your company parked in cyberspace, right? So you just want to create a little website. It ain't got to be nothing fancy. Like I said, you could even do it yourself. They got templates now. It's just a matter of hanging your hat out there in cyberspace to know that, okay, if somebody says, do you have a website? You say, yeah. If the website, all it got on there is your company name and what you do, that's fine. At least you got a website. You see what I'm saying? So now, once you get the LLC and you got the website, the LLC is important because a lot of companies, they don't want to do business with you unless they know that you're incorporated in some way. Whether it's an LLC, a corporation, S Corp, C Corp, whatever it may be, they want to know that you got a little bit of professionalism, going for yourself, right? So you got the LLC, bam. You got a little website, bam. Now, how do you get to work? All right, the first thing that you could do, you make a list of people in your general area that you could contact, right? I would start with like the city. You talk to them. Usually they have I don't know if it's a promotions manager. They have different titles, right? But they got people that work in the cities, and their job is to attract people and business and commerce to the city. So they'll like hire entertainers to come in and do an event. The event is totally free. They pay the entertainers and stuff, but the event is free, but it's just bringing publicity and notoriety to the city, right? Now, those city organizers and event planners, they have a budget. You see what I'm saying? So the money's there. You know what I mean? So it's not a matter of like, sometimes you do a party for a bread on at the end of the night, the man said, boy, I show you, say, oh, boy, the bar never run too good in a Rasta. And you're like, well, damn, every drink is gone. We are talking about the bar never run good. So now you and the man catch up. You see what I'm saying? So every city has a budget. So you link with the people that are affiliated with that department that are responsible for hiring the sound companies to do those jobs. So that's one, you make a contact with the city and you try to get in like that, right? The other thing that you could do too is go to local hotels. Make sure it's a hotel, with a lobby. I mean, not a lobby, with a hall or something like that, or a ballroom. You link with the people that run the hotel. And you tell them, look, I got a sound system, whatever. If you guys are ever doing any events, you need sound and lighting, give me a shout. Get a little business card made up or whatever. Or you could text some your information or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that's number two. You link with the hotels in the area. And a lot of times when they have events going on or they have somebody getting married or somebody's birthday party and you keep in touch with them, they'll call you. You see what I'm saying? That's another way to get some good work. And those jobs, you get paid a lot better. Right. The other thing is you also got convention centers and stuff like that in your area where you can link with the actual people that run the convention centers. So maybe even if they have a sound system on the inside of the convention center, a lot of times they'll do like satellite things. Like maybe they'll have a little outside event just to bring people to the center to see it or whatever. And you could set up outside with a bounce house or whatever. And you tell them, your rate for the 3 or 4 hour event is $1,500 to $1,600. They'll pay that with no problem. You see what I'm saying? And it's not a lot of work. So convention centers is another, avenue to try to get some work, right? I mean, it's a lot of them. I don't want to sit there and write them all out, but so far you got city, you got hotel, you got convention centers, but you also have halls. You find like Jewish, the Jewish American Center or whatever, or the Polish American Center, and that might be a hall that they use for a lot of events. You get in good with the people that own it or run it. And when there's people that come to the hall to rent it out to do a particular event, they can say, hey, we have a company that handles the microphones and sound system or whatever. And then you could catch some work off of that too. You know what I mean? Right now in the season that we're in, you got a lot of politicians running around. They're doing pop-up events in different communities, right? So what you want to do with that is maybe reach out to some of these local radio stations or even the pirate radio stations and say, yo, I got a sound system, whatever. So some of these political figures or people that are running for offices or seats and different things, they need to do a little quick pop-up event. They'll need a sound system, man. They'll need two speakers on a pole and a wireless mic. So if you're on standby and you're keeping in touch with these radio stations and the people that are responsible for getting these things done, you'll get some work off of that as well. You know what I mean? So also, last thing before I go, like I said, I don't like to keep these tech tips long, man, because, then it gets kind of boring. But last thing before I go, man, if you want to also get work, look outside of your community. And what I mean by that is don't just look at the dancehall thing and whatever. Man, there's some cats that do these EDM parties. EDM stands for electronic dance music. I'll just write that down here. EDM, right? That's for electronic dance music. Some of these guys, I mean, they love bass, man. As much as we love like the heavy pounding bass systems, they love it too. So if you could get in good with one of these guys that are doing events with EDM, you don't have to worry about fighting with another cat to try to get the event, because you're doing it in a different genre. You're not doing it with dancehall or reggae or whatever. So you guys don't have to be cutting each other's throat to try to get an event. You're doing it with a different community. You see what I'm saying? And they pay very well. So that's another thing you want to consider. All right. Last but not least, man, just something to keep in mind. If you and a cat fighting about an event, or, you know, you guys are cutting each other's throat, y'all live in the same area. Instead of doing that, why don't y'all get together and just do an event yourselves? You see what I'm saying? Instead of you trying to undercut a next man, and, you know, if he says he'll do it for 1,000, you come in and, well, I'm going to do it for 800. Instead of doing that, just go ahead and try to do your own stuff, man. Try to put together your own event. You guys know people, you know, so if you guys both say, look, we're doing an event, and both of y'all put in on it, you got an opportunity to make money and do your own thing. You know what I mean? And you could do it in turns, like, you know, do something every 2 weeks. One 2 week event will use my zone. The next 2 week will use your zone. You see what I'm saying? So in other words, what I'm trying to say, we got to work together and just, you know, build a community, man, and keep it positive and keep it moving forward. You know, because I mean, not knocking no promoters or nothing like that, but they know the game. So they know a lot of these guys, them have system park up in a garage and warehouse and they're not being used. So they'll nickel and dime you. You see what I'm saying? And just beat you down on the price if they feel that you're thirsty. You see what I'm saying? So instead of doing it that way, man, y'all bond together, do your own thing. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm all about community and uplifting, you know, people or whatever. So that's why I even share this information. Some people get vexed. Say, well, you shouldn't tell them, man, it's them sitting, let them find out for themselves. And why y'all tell them that? No, them I go compete with the same work where y'all look for. I don't look at it like that, man. I look at it like this. Whatever God has for you is for you. You see what I'm saying? Whatever's going to come to you is going to come to you regardless. You know what I mean? So nobody can stop that. Bad mind or hate or whatever, they ain't going to stop nothing. You see what I'm saying? Because it's already destined for you. So nobody could change that destiny. You see what I'm saying? That's just how I look at it. But anyway, that's it. Oh, I got my little stickers in too, man. Every time you buy an amplifier or a distro or whatever, come with this little pretty sticker. The sticker, well sexy. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be in every package. All right? So this is tech tip number 2. Hope I didn't take too long. Hopefully it wasn't too boring. And hopefully you got some good information out of it. I'll be following up with another tech tip. I don't know when. You know, I just kind of do these things when the spirit take me or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All right, so enjoy the rest of your Sunday, man. Be blessed. Spend time with the family as usual. Put God first, everything after. Bless up.